Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the Robert Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. Alright, GCW, the collective, Josh Barnett's Bloodsport 10. This is the third Bloodsport that I've reviewed here on Robert Sports Show 8, 9, and 10. Definitely looking at next year, trying to do a best of, so spending the next year watching the ones I haven't watched already. But just something different with these blood sports. It's more kind of a MMA slash, I guess MMA slash pro wrestling. Just no ropes, just canvas. You get the turnbuckle, you get the corner post. You can kind of the release zone. So yeah, definitely a good show. Having two WWE stars on here, TNA stars on here, independent stars on here. AEW, Marina Shafir, part of AEW, she was on here. Lady Frost has been on AEW. So it was kind of the combination of a bunch of different New Japan Pro Wrestling, multiple stars on here. Johnny Bloodsport, John Hennigan, part of AEW and WWE. We did see some photos online of CM Punk and Brett Lauderdale sitting together. Overall, I thought it was a really good show. First match, we had Victor Benjamin taking on AKIRA Way. AKIRA Way, known for his deathmatch wrestling. This is obviously different. AKIRA is trying to get Victor to punch, because sometimes if you punch somebody enough, you kind of punch yourself out. And literally, AKIRA Way was taking everything from Victor Benjamin and just trying to get him to punch himself out. But after a little bit of that, AKIRA had a little offensive moves. Victor Benjamin came back with this spinning heel kick to the back of the head of AKIRA Way, knocking him out. So Victor Benjamin wins by referee stoppage. I give it 3 1/4. Next up, a match I want to see a rematch of in a wrestling ring. Nick Nemeth making his Bloodsport debut, going up against Speedball Mike Bailey, who may be the most used guy in the collective or in Philadelphia this weekend. He was on the Defy show, he's on this show, he's on the DD2 show, and he's also on the Mark Hitchcock Memorial show. So I still gotta watch those two. But yeah, Speedball Mike Bailey all over the place, going up against Nick Nemeth here. This was just the striking of Mike Bailey, and then Nick Nemeth. We know his background is amateur wrestling, and that's what this dude was. It's two guys just going at it. Bailey put an armbar on Nick Nemeth and almost was able to get the submission out of it, but Nick Nemeth was able to get out of it. And then the weirdest transition I've ever seen. Nick Nemeth hit a zigzag. And that's what they call it, zigzag, into a rear naked choke, which ended up Mike Bailey getting knocked out from that rear naked choke. I give it 3 1/2 with Nick Nemeth getting the victory there. The Bloodsport Women's Tournament, we had 2 semifinal matches, and then the finals, we had Lindsay Snow taking on Lady Frost, and then Marina Shafir taking on Janai Kai. Lindsay Snow, I've not watched a lot of her. I've seen a little bit of her. Uber talented here. The fact that she is, I'm trying to figure out words here. She's really great in the submission game. One of those women that kind of like a Shayna Baszler or Masha Slamovich. I would put her in that category. More of a fighter, brawler kind of than a quote diva women's wrestler. But yeah, she took it to Lady Frost. 2 minutes and 16 seconds. Lindsay Snow gets the submission victory on Lady Frost. I give it 2 1/2. Next up, we had Janai Kai taking on Marina Shafir. This match didn't last long either. It was a little bit longer than the other one, 3 minutes and 56 seconds, with Marina Shafir getting the submission, but with a cost to it. She won the match. I give it 2 3/4. But then she tweaked her ankle during it, and you could see her limping out of the ring. So it was like kind of worried about when she faces Lindsay Snow later And even the commentators made a comment about it. How is she going to be recover? She was almost twice as long in the ring in this first match as Lindsay Snow. Is that going to be a deficit for her later? We had the first of two WWE stars on the show. NXT standout Charlie Dempsey taking on Matt Makowski. Matt Makowski was actually also on a show earlier. He was on Sean Anderson Productions Euphoria. He actually had a DDT Universal title match against Mayo. So he's already had wrestled up to this point as well. He had Tracy Williams in his corner. This match, these two guys knew toward, I'm kind of lost here what I was going to say there. They knew the game they wanted to play. They wanted the submission base. They wanted to try to out-submission, out-maneuver their opponent, and that's what they tried to do for 6.5 minutes. With the end of the day, Charlie Dempsey getting the submission victory over Matt Makowski. I ended up giving this match 3.5. Just the fortitude these two guys had, and just the technical savviness of both of them. You could see them just kind of using their submission past to attack each other here. But seeing Charlie Dempsey in a Game Changer Wrestling ring was like, what is going on here? He actually went over and did a Pro Wrestling Noah show earlier this year. Not Pro Wrestling Noah, All Japan Pro Wrestling show representing NXT. So the fact that Tripp is letting stars like a Shayna Baszler, like a Charlie Dempsey, go do other things, that's great for the wrestling business. The forbidden door that Tony Khan has is great for the wrestling business. Being able to tune into a Game Changer show and seeing it packed to the rafters because of Shayna Baszler being there, it was like, wow. Hopefully one of these fans that normally wouldn't come to a show like this may see a Marina Shafir. Maybe they see the AKIRA Way, the Speedball Mike Bailey they've never seen before, and they end up, oh, how many matches does Speedball have? Oh, he had this Defy match. Let's go watch that. Oh, he had this match. Let's go watch that. And maybe they become fans of other wrestling besides WWE. But Charlie Dempsey getting the victory there. Next up, we had Takuya Nomura versus Fuminori Abi. These two are actually tag team partners in Japan for a number of years. They won multiple tag team champions across different companies there in Japan. But you know what? Sometimes being partners makes you better enemies. These two just took it to one another. Nomura was able to get the Hangman choke on Abi and was able to get the knockout with that. I ended up giving it a 3.5 as well. Next up, we had Erik Hammer and Lou Nixon. These two were just started to suplex and armbar each other to death. Hammer hit a suplex into an armbar. Nixon ended up, wow, can't read my own handwriting. I wrote some notes down here. Getting out of the submission, but at the end of it, after 3 minutes and 47 seconds, Erik Hammer was able to get the victory there. Next up, we had Royce Isaac taking on the Murder Grandpa, Minoru Suzuki. That's what is so cool about a guy like a Minoru Suzuki. You can watch him on Bloodsport. You can watch him on AEW facing Adam Copeland. You can watch him at Wrestle Kingdom. You can watch him just pretty much everywhere. This dude's got I would love to see his frequent flyer miles. As much as he travels to the U.S. and does stuff, he travels to Europe to do stuff, in Japan, just all over the place. The old Murder Grandpa, he had Royce Isaac in an armbar, and Minoru Suzuki ended up rolling out of the ring. He has got his legs on the bottom of the ring, and he's laying on the ground with that armbar in still. My God, Isaac was able to get out of it, but at the end of the day, Minoru Suzuki ended up getting the victory. I ended up giving it 3.5. Next up, we had Timothy Thatcher, one of the best submission guys in pro wrestling, and just brawlers, that British strong style, going up against Axel, Tischer, two British wrestlers here who can just submit you to death. I'll be honest with you. Timothy Thatcher, though, he was able to beat Axel Tischer with an armbar, getting him to tap out. I ended up giving it 3.5. Next up, a very, very interesting match. We had WWE versus TNA at a GCW ring. Yes, you heard me correct. We had WWE Shayna Baszler with her tag team partner Zoey Stark taking on former TNA Knockout Champion Masha Slamovich and current TNA Knockout Champion Jordynne Grace, who was on her corner. So seeing WWE versus TNA in a GCW ring, wow. That's all you could say about that. The crowd was so pro Masha. This is the match that everyone wanted. I want to see this in actual wrestling ring versus this Bloodsport. But these two just took it to one another. Masha kicked Shayna in the face at one point, and you could see it just, best way to say it, pissed off Shayna. We had the MMA version of Shayna. We had the Shayna Baszler that everyone knew about before she signed with WWE. The Shayna Baszler that was a former NXT women's champion. Not this Shayna Baszler that's WWE women's tag team champion. That just methodical kind of, I'm going to rip your leg off and beat you with it, Shayna Baszler. And that's what Masha got here. Masha hit, what was it? It was an armbar or a submission move. Shayna got out of it. Pissed off, and she goes stomping Masha. She stomped her in the head. Referee ended up stopping the match. 7 minutes, 14 seconds. 3.5 star, and Shayna Baszler beating Masha Slamovich in Bloodsport 10. Whew, what a match that was. What a fight. And then that Bloodsport women's tournament final match, we had Marina Shafir versus Lindsay Snow. When Marina Shafir came out, you could see her kind of bouncing around a little bit, making sure her ankle was okay. Even Lenny Leonard made a comment about that. These two are just striking each other unbelievably. The fact there's a big slam. It looks like Shafir slams Snow, and then Snow gets kicked in the back of the head by Marina Shafir. Marina was limping a little bit on the ankle. She was able to get the victory, though. I ended up giving it 3.25. Marina Shafir winning the Bloodsport Women's Tournament. She was limping leaving, so I'm hoping she's not injured going forward. And then our main event was Josh Barnett versus Johnny Bloodsport. John Hennigan, a.k.a. John Morrison, Johnny Warrior, Johnny Ultra, Johnny Impact. Johnny wherever he's at. That's Johnny TV and AEW, by the way. But Johnny Bloodsport taking on Josh Barnett. Johnny Bloodsport was doing more of parquet. So he would do it kind of like a parquet moves, and he was kind of jumping around. He would hit and kind of kind of flipping around him and all this and trying to get Barnett to miss. And Barnett did his own spinning kick. And he did this, Josh Barnett did this freaking gut-wrench powerbomb that was just like, holy crap. I think he knocked Johnny Bloodsport back to WWE with that hit. Then Josh Barnett was able to get the victory there. I ended up giving it a 3.5. It was good. I enjoyed it. Overall, these Bloodsports are just different than regular pro wrestling. So I star rated them best that I feel that what I watched, submission holds and arm bars and suplexes and just mat-based wrestling and the catch-as-can style. No Lucha Libre here. No Lucha Libre at all because there ain't no ropes. But again, this is the third Bloodsport that I've reviewed here in our sports show. I think 10 is one of the better ones. Stay tuned to Robert Sports Show as we get going on more on the collective. It looks like we have WrestleCon, the Mark Hitchcock Super Show, the collective, DDT Pro Wrestling, and then tonight GCW, JCW versus the World. Those reviews will be up tomorrow. And then we have big day tomorrow. Toshijo Pro Wrestling, Progress Wrestling Chapter 166, and Wrestling Revolver and House of Glory together. Both of those are at 2. And then Joe Janela Spring Break 8 is at 6. And then Supercard of Honor for Ring of Honor at 6. And then we have obviously SmackDown, and then the GCW for the Culture at 11. Still a lot of pro wrestling to come. Several shows on Saturday. We have F's Big Game Brunch 9, GCW versus TJPW, and then Clusterfuck Forever. Obviously WrestleMania Night 1, NXT Stand and Deliver in the daytime. A lot going on the next couple days. Definitely we'll have everything finished up by Monday. We'll have the best of up on Monday. We'll have Raw up, and then we'll be over for the collective and for WrestleMania Week 2024. As always, thanks for watching Robert Sports Show. Don't just have a great day. Have a spiffy day, Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader, sports channel content.